We're back again on the Football Outside the Box podcast. The Premier League season is over, and because of that, there's really only one man that it makes sense to start off with here. Noah, the Arsenal fan in the room. Tell us how you're feeling.
Well, for me, it's a little bit of a bittersweet because I want to see my team win at the end of the day, and we're coming back. We're coming back next season to fight again. But overall, I'm proud of my club, bro. This season was not a battle. Like this season was not a battle. I don't care what the people them saying. You can come back and try to tell me why, but I am not calling this one a battle. Next season or last season, you can say that was the case. But this season, no. And that's why I'm proud of my side, bro. Fought till the end, last day, pushed them right till the end. Of course, we had some matches we should have won, and that Christmas period definitely was the key moment for us. But we fought till the end. 2024 was an incredible year to start off the second half of the season. I mean, the most goals we've scored, the most wins, most clean sheets. Incredible season as far as performance goes.
You're going insane, Noah, because of course you guys bottled. Of course you guys bottled
No,
it. The same way
no,
that my side
no,
did. Liverpool
What?
also bottled the title. You
no.
guys were ahead of City in the title race, man. You guys bottled it against Villa at
When
home. At
when we're
home.
Nah, no, we never battled it. The only time that people will talk about that we lost was against Aston Villa, which Aston Villa also beat City, and we were never really like fully ahead. City always had a game in hand, always.
No, but you guys were ahead. You guys were ahead. You'd be 2 points ahead have you won that match
I
against
think
Villa.
Liverpool lost
But
that.
you were playing at the Emirates, you know? That was a must win for Arsenal. I know you're playing a tough side, a Villa side. That's very good. But still, man, if you're going for the title race against City, you can afford to drop points against Villa at home. So in my view, you guys bottled
Did
it
the
the same
same.
way that Liverpool did by tying Man United and then losing to Palace. Man, wow.
No,
City did the same thing.
no, I think Liverpool did. I wouldn't say Arsenal did. Like realistically, Arsenal, okay, yeah, had they won that game, they're winning the league, obviously. But in 2024, in 18 Premier League matches, they won 16, drew once, and that was against City. And that loss, of course, was pivotal against Villa. I don't know. I mean, City dropped more points than Arsenal did in 2024. So
That's true too.
yeah,
I think it's an interesting way to look at it. Again, kind of like last week when we were talking about Farmers League and different definitions and stuff. I think bottling is also another situation of kind of semantics, but there's so many ways to look at it, and I think you should be proud of Arsenal's season. Like at the end of the day, I was interesting to see what would have happened with the Arsenal fan base, like how their sentiments would have been had they not picked up 3 points against Everton on the final day. Because you did what you had to do. When you lose a league on the final day, the interesting thing is that you can point to any result, any non 3 point result in the season and say, oh, if we won that, we win the title. City can also do the same thing. Like if they, picked up a win where they actually picked up a draw, then they'd be like, well, we wouldn't have had to wait until the final day. Things like that always happen. And that's why, like Dortmund last season, for example, that is a battle job. I'm pretty sure if they
oh
play
yeah.
that same game, if they play that game midway through the season and it doesn't matter for shit, then they don't draw that game. I think they win that game. So Arsenal did what they had to do on the final day. And I think you guys were spared a lot of psychological damage by not having it be in your hands. I think that the fact it was in City's hands, I think most people knew it was a tall order for them to lose or draw to West Ham.
I'm sure you guys have seen clips of videos of Arsenal fans celebrating West Ham's draw at the Etihad. They were
Oh, that was
celebrating a
cruel.
2-2 score when it never happened.
That was
It's so
cruel,
funny
bro.
to see that.
That was very cruel. I couldn't believe that. Like people were spreading a rumor in the stadium that it was like 2-2 or 1-2 or something. Just evil.
Yeah, that was
I
evil. That was
swear,
very
I
evil.
swear the same thing happened for Liverpool when they were playing, was it Wolves like 2 years ago when Villa were 2-0 up and then City obviously made it 3-2, right? And
Yeah.
then at some point the fans started cheering and I guess somebody had told them that Villa somehow made it 3-3 all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You know what's a crazy thing though? On that day, at no point was City not the champion. I think City was the champion at every second in the game on that final day. Because Liverpool, I think we're at 1 down or something.
Right, yeah.
Or we're at 1
Yeah,
on.
Same this season too.
same this
Yeah.
season. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say.
of course.
Yo, but one
But
thing I know for a fact is that Noah is still having nightmares with the sun. That's
oh
for
God.
sure.
Bro, don't even
Oh
get me
God.
started, bro.
I really hate the narrative though, because I've been seeing this narrative all over social media that, oh, not just Tottenham, right? But from Arsenal fans saying that teams just spread their cheeks for City. And I'm like, you're really saying that, bro? Like, you think teams just lay down and expect City to pummel them? And maybe they expect it, but I don't think that professionals are, intentionally dropping points here.
No, not at all. Of course, they respect City. City is the strongest side of all in the Premier League, but doesn't mean they're gonna spread their cheeks. Doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense. And
it's
me and
absurd.
Noah, we have a friend in common that he was saying that Son's chance wasn't a clear cut chance. It wasn't that easy. That it was
So,
more probable for him to miss the chance than to score on that chance. I just thought this guy was going crazy. Shout out to Mac, by the way, Machiavelli. If you're listening to us, you were going crazy, my friend.
I mean, for a player like Heung-min Son, I
That's my
said it.
point.
Yeah, I said it. Remember, I was saying if there's one player that Arsenal fans would have wanted on Spurs in behind that chance is Son. And someone else said to me the other day, never mind Spurs. If there's one player you want in the Premier League behind that chance, it might be Heung-min Son because that's his bread and butter.
And this is the one chance that you're expecting to come from a match against City with Spurs
Yeah.
playing.
And Noah, by the way, you know there might be a little bit of poetic justice there as well, because for all the Tottenham fans, the Oh My Days fam, the Oh My Days blood fans who are celebrating Tottenham's loss to City, thinking that Champions League was, kind of done and dusted. Aston Villa got their asses handed to them by Crystal Palace on the final day. I wondered if that was intentional for Aston Villa fans to be like, oh, okay, you guys gonna celebrate the loss? All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll open up for Palace and see how you guys feel. Because
And they
for real,
were
I mean,
not pleased
Spurs,
about it at all.
bro, Spurs could
That's
have
funny
made
because
Champions
they were
League.
they were 2 points away. Have they beaten City, they wouldn't
Yeah,
make it to the Champions
exactly.
League.
Yeah,
They genuinely could have done it.
but then Villa wouldn't have stayed out all night getting pissed and lost not wouldn't have lost 5-0.
Hey, one thing about that though, isn't that crazy? You have a season where Villa finishes in Champions League qualification. They lost 5-0 on the opening day, and they lost 5-0 on the final day.
That's
How insane is
crazy.
that?
Talk
And they
about
finish in a
poetic
Champions League
justice.
spot. Absolute insanity.
Yo, but I heard you're talking about the new Big Six now, right? With Villa in fourth, meaning those are the Big Six for now.
I
The
mean,
top six, the top six clubs in Premier League right now, meaning City,
oh,
Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa, Tottenham, and Chelsea. The Big Six right now.
City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa, Tottenham,
Mm,
and Chelsea.
once I
So
can
who's out of it?
tell
Oh,
us,
United. Oh,
yeah, United
United is
also.
out. Oh
Once I can
God.
tell us
So
if that's
it took you
fair.
guys a minute to figure that out. God damn.
I was
I
there
knew
wondering like
one side was
who's
feeling it
missing.
already.
I was like, who's missing?
Well, I thought you were talking about Newcastle because apparently they're the new Big Four.
Newcastle need a couple more years of that financial injection to be able to get to that level. They will be there soon, I'm pretty sure. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm very
I mean,
excited to see Alexander Isak in the next few seasons, man. The guy is exciting.
oh yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you guys, like, because again, social media runs narratives and stuff like that. Another thing I've been seeing a lot of, and again, I know this could just be sort of the Arsenal fan base coping and stuff like that, but I think that the talk of like the charges against City, I feel like the level of that conversation has escalated now since they won the title, and especially because Arsenal fans really feel that sense of loss of the title, and there's a lot of stuff out there right now of fans saying like, oh well, I mean, City cheated this title, and like if they hadn't breached these rules, depending on the outcome of the charges against them, that this is just something that they wouldn't have done anyway. I mean, I wonder what you guys think about that, because like when I look at the nature of the charges against them, it's hard for me to think like, oh, this is a situation where they couldn't have done it anyway. Like, I don't know what you guys think about that.
I
I'll
think it
let the
stems.
Arsenal man speak up. There you go, Arsenal man.
It just stems from it just stems from the beginning of when City first started to get their riches and first started to invest heavily in players and in the club in general. And I think without that foundation, you wouldn't see what's built today. So you can look at it in a vacuum and say, oh, they spent X amount over the past 2, 3 seasons. But the real damage was done at the beginning stages when you're building that foundation. And that is what helped to make City who they are today. And I think a lot of that, the focus on the charges now is just because they've done an unbelievable feat. 4 in a row is unbelievable. And I think that raises questions to say, hold on, what's going on here? Like, we need to investigate this situation. Kind of similarly to they started to investigate Usain Bolt low key, because he was just doing unbelievable things.
Well, I mean, yeah, for sure. But I mean, do you think that there's this reverse butterfly effect that like, because when you look at the charges, it's things like failing to report like certain salaries, like failing to accurately report certain financial information on time, or like other things of that nature, right? And I'm really, really curious as to what is going to be the outcome, because then we can apply this sort of reverse butterfly effect where it's like, what would they not have been able to do? Like, would they have not been able to sign crucial players like De Bruyne or Rodri, for example? And just from what we know now, I find it hard to believe that. So I'm wondering, like, even in light of all these charges, am I wrong to say it's just maybe a bit of copium from, all fans, who feel this way, that City cheated these titles? I don't know.
I mean, I will. They got lucky. The owners came in 2008, before all these restrictions were in place. We just spoke about Villa getting thrashed 5-0 on the final day. City got thrashed 8. I mean, this is a famous clip, but they got thrashed 8-1 on the final day.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah, by Middlesbrough. Among the charges you've listed, you forgot one thing, where they paid Mancini his wages as a manager, but then they appointed him as an ambassador to Abu Dhabi or something like that, and they paid him a bit extra, but that doesn't count as as the wages going out from the club to a manager.
Yeah.
And failing to report financial information, all that, like you said, may not have mattered at the end of the day, right? But why do clubs do it? Why do other clubs do it then? What's the point of the rule being in place?
Oh no, I agree with you. Like it's still wrong, and it should be, there should still be the consequences. But I feel like there's a sense in which fans are talking about it almost as though the players are doping themselves, and it's like this wouldn't have happened anyway. And I don't know, it was just a thought that I was having. I saw one fan who came out and said, like they just discovered that they paid like 50 million for Haaland. It's like, anybody who thinks that Haaland cost 50 million is delusional. It's like, no, the man actually did cost them 50 million. Like, that's because of his release clause. That was Dortmund's fault. But that's why they were able to pay him such high wages, or whatever wages they're reporting for him. But things like that. So the fact that they've got this 4th title in a row, I'm just seeing so much like, narrative that I find to be a bit copious in nature. Let's
But you
say.
have to look on what the consequences would be. Because if you're talking about like, why is it that Everton get points deduction, Nottingham Forest get points deduction, and then City, what's their punishment? If they get a
What?
points
Yeah,
deduction, does that take away this fourth title? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it would.
right. So
It would.
that makes a huge difference if they get that consequence that is rightfully deserved, just like how it was done to Everton, just like how it was done to Nottingham Forest. Why are
Yeah.
they not getting the same consequences and feeling the same effects from that? That takes
Right.
away the title. Literally, that's the points difference between the title of the season.
Yeah. It certainly would be taken away. I would imagine it'd have a similar situation like they had with Juventus and Inter get the title.
As in
You know,
before the fact though, as in why is it taking this long? I think is why everyone is like,
mm.
yo, this has
Oh, because
been
there's so many charges.
there's so many, right? So it's an accusation. So no, so what? They get pretty much they're benefiting from the fact that they've done more because they're
Well,
delaying
in the short term,
in the short
yeah,
term, as far as we know, and potentially for the long term. Because what if it does,
yeah.
like you said, who's gonna remember if they switch it years later and say, oh, Arsenal actually won this season because of the points? It's like dead.
Yeah, like how does that
Who's gonna
feel?
care?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
agreed.
you strip that experience from every Arsenal fan.
Arsenal fan. Yeah, just like what happened with Juventus. But
Right.
I will say, just to sort of wrap up on this point about the charges, I think Jurgen Klopp said something pretty poignant on it, where he said, essentially, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, regardless of whatever is the outcome with the 115 charges, he said that Pep Guardiola is the only man who could have come into that side anyway and won them 4 in a row, 115 charges or not. And I thought that was a very poignant thing to say. We have to give the man his flowers. He is doing things as a manager which are just unprecedented, and he's still so young. So
Yeah,
we have to big up City at the end of the day.
yeah, it's true. It's Pep. When Pep leaves next year, we'll see. That's when we'll see the real Premier League.
Go
Hopefully,
back to
That's
normal.
yeah.
he said he's closer to leaving than staying, and we had this saga, what, 3 years ago, I think, when he was in his last year contract. I mean, hopefully for everyone else's sake, I hope he leaves. But speaking of Pep, I mean, this guy is not shy of any awards or accolades. So, I think it's time that we hand out some of these awards to the best
Awards
players,
of the
best
season.
managers, yeah, that's shown this season. So the first
Absolutely.
yeah, the first category will be obviously player of the season. Foden actually won it. Uh, to me, that's a bit odd, but I mean, he scored crucial goals in the last game of the season, so maybe he does deserve it. But who do you guys have for the player of the season this in 2023, 2024?
It's hard to
Man, I
argue
have to
against
go for
Foden, man.
Darwin Nunez. That's got to be the guy.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we can
I
move
love
on.
it.
Yeah. He also qualifies for the best young player too, so we might as well skip that one too.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous. By the
That's
way,
wild to think about.
I think you said it last season that they need. Or you said it last week. Once, like I think it was you who said it, that they got to change that to like rookie of the year or something. Like it's absurd that a guy like Foden or Haaland can win young player of the season.
Right. Yeah.
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 Saka
But
too.
I think he's fair for. I think he's fair enough for player of the season. And we can say anything we want about Foden. You know, I think he's got such a funny like profile personally. I think he looks like such a British kid. But I mean, he has been so good this season. He's really stepped it up again. The man has 6 EPLs at 23 years old. I mean, obviously he plays for City, but he now feels like their main man. And this was a huge season for him personally.
So would you say that he's seen as the main man on top of De Bruyne now?
Well, I think just because of what happened this season with De Bruyne, the fact that he missed over half the campaign, I think he had to be that main sort of creator and goal scorer at times, and he did that. He scored so many crucial goals. Normally, it would be De Bruyne getting the highlights, But when he was out, bro, I mean, Foden stepped up in on so many occasions. I can't fault him for that.
Yeah,
And
this season.
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, at least this season, Foden deserves the flowers that he's getting. I Leo, like you mentioned, I'm not sure how much De Bruyne has. I mean, he's 32, getting injured pretty often. Not sure how much he has in his tank anymore.
Yeah, I mean it's wild. I mean, I give De Bruyne huge props for playing half the season and doing what he did in the season. He came back with a bang, and he ended up racking up quite a few goal contributions, even just for playing half the season. But I don't think we can give him player of the season just on that.
Yeah.
My thing with Foden is he's been absolute quality. Like I agree with everything you guys are saying. He stepped up when needed. He's been incredible. He's come up with crucial goals for sure. My question now moving forward for him is, can he maintain that? Because now that he's doing it for City, now the fans are gonna start having this expectation of him. And there was a huge difference before, because I don't think that there was no pressure on him to perform like that. There was no pressure on him that people are gonna have this expectation that he was gonna come in and provide this kind of impact. Now that he's done it, now that people see that he can do it, now it's a matter of when nothing is happening, that's the first person they're gonna start looking at. Where was Foden? They never used to ask those questions before. Now it's gonna be, shit, where was Foden?
I feel like there was some expectations as far as the involvement levels of Phil Foden, and I feel like that's where he showed that he's improved the most. His involvement in the game, how much he's been participating in every single play. He's very clinical with every decision that he makes. If it's a shot, if it's a dribble, if it's a pass, if it's a movement running into space. So to me, this season it feels like Phil Foden, he has involved himself a lot more in the game, and I guess that was the expectation that at least I had for him the previous seasons, because he has always been very quality, a top quality player, always. I mean, I haven't ever doubted his quality, his skills, but I just kind of question like if he would be more involved in the game, ask more for the ball, drop more, showed up in the middle, just be more active for the team. And it seems like this season he was able to step it up. And as the man of the season award, I was very I had two main options. It would be either Foden for the past few matches in the season, or Rodri. Who actually, man, we can give Rodri enough compliments here. The City side just can't lose whenever Rodri's playing. So I mean, that's insane. That's incredible. And kudos to Rodri, because
Yeah,
I feel like his football just goes so
under the radar.
unrecognized, yeah, under the radar, yeah, that we just don't give him the props that he actually deserves. So I feel like I was very in between those two options.
I was gonna ask actually a question. I'm really glad you raised that point, because you know when you look at that guy, I was gonna ask Noah what Arsenal players he felt came closest to player of the season. Obviously, Odegaard is somebody who was mentioned. Um, but a guy like Saliba, right, who played every minute for Arsenal, right? Arsenal conceded the fewest number of goals in the league, right? What does a defender have to do? Like a centre back. What does a defender have to do more than that to get player of the season? The last
So
defender I can remember winning it is Vidic.
so
The,
you
the only defender.
I'm
Oh, is the
glad
only one? I didn't know that.
I'm glad you said it. Wait, did Van Dijk not win it one year? But
Oh, he
re
might have.
regardless,
Or
I'm glad you said it, because right as Theo was wrapping up that statement, I was about to come in and say Gabriel was gonna probably be my bias pick. That I know it would sound biased, but Gabriel, I know you said Saliba. I wish I could pick both as a partnership duo, but if I had to pick one, I'm actually picking Gabriel, bro, because like I was gonna actually pick it before you made this talk about what does a defender have to do, because like you said, Arsenal had the best defense, the most clean sheets, least goals conceded, and the most set pieces scored as well, which Gabriel played a crucial role in that as well. So I mean, bro, he's just been a monster back there the whole season, and I think to win it, as a defender, you have to have consistency. And it's a good point you mentioned about Saliba playing every minute. You have to be consistent and reliable because that is what people look at. That's what fans look at in a defender. They're going to remember that one mistake. That's why Mustafi got such a bad rep. He would actually play a good game up until one terrible mistake, and then everyone highlights that mistake. You mentioned it, Christian, with Maguire a couple times, right? And so I think if as a defender you have that consistency, that's the only chance you'll win it. As an attacker, you can be completely inconsistent. You can miss 50 chances, but if you score 50, you're gonna be considered. So you can be inconsistent as long as you get numbers and results. But as a defender, you have to be consistent and reliable.
Bro, Mustafi was
Definitely.
horrendous, bro. But Christian,
Yeah, I
to
mean,
answer
that's
your
another
question,
story.
bro.
That's a whole other story. He had a long career, okay? So there was a periods in there that were good, periods in there that were terrible. That's another story for another time.
For sure. Christian, to answer your question about, you're asking about what does it take a defender to become the man of the season? And I would say the title. You know, if had Arsenal win the title, I would say we would be having this discussion as far as who would be the man of the season for Arsenal or for the
I think
whole
you're right.
league. You know, and I would pick Saliba over Gabriel. I feel like Saliba really stepped up his game. He's so sharp. He times his tackles perfectly. And I feel like Gabriel is a little too clumsy at times. Even though he's very solid, I feel like he makes more mistakes that can prove to be more crucial in the end. So I just feel like
Bro.
Saliba also makes a few mistakes. Yeah, don't get me wrong. He has made a few important mistakes too. But I feel like Gabriel is a little more clumsy. Maybe I'm biased because I feel like Brazilian defenders, because I watch a lot of Brazilian league, right? And overall, they're very clumsy. So that's why I might be biased, I guess. But I'll pick Saliba over Gabriel.
Yeah, okay. We'll just move on to the next category. I mean, I think this is pretty obvious. Best young player. We spoke the
Well, who's
coolest-
eligible? Who's all eligible at this point? Remember, we're gonna
They're all
consider.
eligible.
it
I
does
mean, Foden, right?
it does not matter. It's got to be cold Palmer. 33 goal
Cold
involvements. That's
10
the winner.
penalties, Palmer.
Even without the
He
penalty.
tops he tops goal involvements in the league, right?
Yeah, and everybody, yeah.
10 penalties.
It does not matter. Penalties are hard. There are players who fail to score penalties. Penalties are a big part of a player's ability. I would say.
That's very true. I'm just salty about how people treated Haaland for scoring tap-ins. But yeah, obviously Cole Palmer has performed
But
extremely well
Christian,
for Chelsea.
especially with Nicholas Jackson and Madueke
Ooh.
fighting on your back for the pen, bro. Like it's
Oh,
more
God.
pressure on your back, you know. It's not that easy.
No, man, he's cool. He has a little bit of that like messy awkwardness to him, you know.
For sure.
That like the little spectrumness, but he's cool as hell, man. He's an excellent player, very skilled on the ball, confidence, and I mean it's just crazy to watch him like at a team like Chelsea, when he could barely get in for City. Well,
I'm telling you, man,
it was so unexpected.
When players go to teams, man, they can either shine or look like shit just based on their manager, the style, and the players around them. For sure. And speaking of that, speaking of managers building a side, for a manager to sign a player now, who would you guys say was the best signing this season?
So we have like Rice, pretty much the overwhelming pick.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I think it's Rice and
Declan Rice.
Sure.
Yeah, only gonna
100%.
give it to Rice because of Cole Palmer winning the young player of the season already.
Yeah,
we gotta be fair here, right? Once I can give Cole
I still
Palmer
would pick
every
Rice
reward.
still, but maybe I'm biased, but
The thing is that Rice
biased
costs
too.
more. Palmer was cheaper and he produced more, let's say, right?
Yeah.
More goal involvement.
Yeah.
I
Well,
wouldn't
Rice
say
is
he
always gonna
produced
cost
more. We can get into that debate deeper on another day still, but I do agree with you. Yeah, cheaper should matter.
come into play.
Yeah, because Rice did a lot of goal line clearances that led us to game winners. Just
Well,
Rice
is just top class, and he's only gonna get better. So
yeah. All right. So best newcomer.
So newcomer being someone coming from outside the Premier League.
Yeah, that can be
Outside the
manager or player.
I see.
I don't think there's a clear answer for this, but I will say Van de Ven. I've heard of this guy from the Bundesliga. Maybe Christian, you know better than I do. I've heard he's fast for a tall guy, but he has some weaknesses still in his aerial abilities. But I mean, he fits the team perfectly. They need a guy like that on the side under Postecoglou. Yeah, I was I've never seen a guy that tall run that fast.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was going to be Szoboszlai just because I rate him so much. But I don't think
He's superb, dog. I
he
hate the
is
fact that
good.
Liverpool fans have turned on him,
I
or
mean,
not all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think he has potential to come through and be that player that, we know him to be. But I don't think this
Yeah.
season was his full max potential. Not to say he wasn't good, but
Most definitely.
No.
And I mean, again, he's again, it could be down to systems and anything of the sort. For me, just based on the performances that have happened since his introduction, I know it was late, but shout out to Oliver Glasner for Crystal Palace. How he has that side just destroying teams toward the end of the season is kind of insane.
Right. I didn't know we could include managers in this.
Yeah, he was saying
Okay.
coach, player, any
Okay.
newcomer. Well, all right. And
Yeah.
speaking of managers, who gets your manager of the season?
That's
Pull
what I
up,
was
pull up.
gonna
I haven't responded my newcomer. And
Oh,
to
I
me, I
thought you
gotta
had
be
to.
biased here. I gotta represent
Endo?
Brazil. No, no. I mean,
Oh.
Endo will be a great pick, one sock. Endo will be a great pick. But I
Mhm.
gotta represent, bro. Gotta be Rodrigo Muniz from Fulham.
Mm.
The kid is different. He's different. So, and I feel like he's gonna shine even
He
more
played
next
well.
season. He was
He
playing for a
played well.
weaker Fulham side. Fulham was better last season. They weren't as effective this season, but still, the guy managed to show up. He stepped up his game, and he really
Yeah,
helped the London side to not do so poor, I would say.
that's true.
And the
That's
other
very
one
true.
I was thinking a lot about, especially for the first few matches of the season, was Vicario from Tottenham. For the
Yeah, he
first
Good
few
was
shout.
very
matches,
good.
this guy was superb, and I was sure he was gonna get the award for the best keeper, but he was making more mistakes as the season was going by.
Mhm.
He proved to be not as good with corners, set pieces, balls in the air. He was very uh, I don't know, man. He
Like
just
dominant.
I,
yeah,
I,
he
I,
didn't have
wa-
that dominance in the air. Yeah,
I wonder if he starts for Italy at the Euros.
So Theo,
yeah.
on Rodrigo Muniz, with a scarcity or a lack of top classic number 9 strikers, do you think Rodrigo Muniz can fill that gap?
For who?
Just to be like, as in, I'm just saying,
For
there's not
Brazil.
many. Yeah, for Brazil. I just mean in world football. I feel like
For any team.
there's not a lot of number 9s that are just real quality. There's not a lot of them. There's
Yeah,
a few. So I'm saying, do you think he can come in and kind of be one of those?
you're right. You're right. I mean, he could. He definitely could. He does have the skills, the ability. He has the football IQ, which I think is the most important thing. A guy like R9, for example, I feel like he's the best player that I've seen play because he's the one with the best football IQ, I would say. So I see a guy like Muniz. He's on his path to becoming a reliable number 9, a guy who you can count on, who you know that he's gonna score goals, he's gonna create chances, he's gonna be very explosive. He's gonna dribble into space. He's gonna attract a defender so he can run into the space. I feel like he's gonna be one of the top guys for sure. I don't feel like he's there yet, but he's working his way up to success. And I really believe in the guy, man. I feel like in 2, 3 years from now, we're gonna have a different conversation about this kid.
Nice. That's very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, so guys, who's
Very
your
true.
overachievers or dark horse, as we like to call it, this season?
Got to be Aston Villa, man.
The one I called beforehand. Come on. Who you guys got?
Champions League football for
You
sure.
guys
I
agree?
mean,
On the low, I kind of feel like Chelsea was a kind of a dark horse, especially
ooh.
for the past few weeks.
Overachiever.
No, no,
No.
for
Oh
the
no,
for the
like
past
low
few
key,
weeks, for the past
low
few
key.
weeks, low key,
I
because
actually
they
Come
give
were
on,
that
for
doing
the
damn
past
so
few
good
shit. They were
point.
doing
weeks.
so
Over
shit,
the past few
so shit.
weeks. This is
Yeah.
a 38 game season, Bridget.
No, I know, I
For the
know.
last few
Because
weeks.
Before the season started, you were saying that Chelsea was going to finish top four. We all thought
I
you were
did, and I
crazy
was
for
dead wrong
that.
about that. I was dead wrong about that shit for sure. Which is why I
And
can't
then
say
But
they overachieved.
the
for
fact that they
most of the
turned that
season,
around
Chelsea was,
is crazy.
yeah, Chelsea, they were like fighting for the 12th spot, 10th spot. They finished up in sixth. Wasn't like too big of an achievement, but considering Chelsea's entire season, the past few weeks have been phenomenal for Chelsea.
It's
I
actually
mean,
insane.
five wins in a row. Who would expect Chelsea to win 5 matches in a row? I would
That's
never.
insane. Truly insane.
Yeah, but overall, for sure, got to be Villa. They were fighting for the title in the first few weeks too. You know, they were there with Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. So we got to give kudos to the Villa too. I think they were leading the table for a few.
Well, I will say though, but Theo, with that same logic, Villa cannot be the biggest overachiever because I don't think they've won a game in the last few weeks. They got lucky. They got lucky that every other team shut the bed. Honestly, I don't think Villa overachieved, really. Historically, you need at least 70, 72, 71 points. They fell way short of that mark. It was just
Well, they were almost on 70 points.
Champions League football, bro.
I get it. The results speak for everything, but it's just I don't really think I will say they just got lucky. But yeah, they still overachieved.
I got news for you. Nobody was expecting Villa to get that many points in general.
Exactly.
So to
Exactly.
me, that's an
Bro,
overachievement. And on top
bro.
of that, before you even move on, shout out Dominic Solanke as well.
Yes.
True that. True that.
The guy's a beast. It's just a shame he
Overachieved.
didn't do too well at Liverpool. He's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
that
was
was just
he,
an
he,
overachiever.
he was at Chelsea as well. Didn't do it there either.
But
But then again, young strikers rarely do. So
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest underachievers, like pretty
Oh
obvious,
God.
I guess.
Oh God.
Newcastle, right? Newcastle.
nah, don't run, don't run, bro.
Mm,
You can't run.
the man says, "Do not run."
Baba boy, don't run.
No, but I
I
mean,
mean,
really, guys, what expectations did you guys have for Man United? You, one suck, a United fan. What were your expectations for the season?
I think I said it in the beginning of the season. I want to see some st some style because we hobbled to the finish line last season. We didn't even hobble. We just collapsed this season. Uh, I don't know what expectations I had. I didn't. It was an eighth for sure. Um, but I mean,
Bro,
yeah,
Manchester United, the most successful club in the history of English football. They dropped points in more games this season than they won. Like, to me, that is unbelievable. Even with the whole thing of Man United. And I rate Ten Hag highly, you know. I rate Ten Hag as a coach. I think he's a coach that I've seen his teams play exciting football. And I think he can get United there at some point. But as a whole season, taken as a whole, I have to say they underachieved. -1 goal difference,
That's what
bro.
I was about to say. I say
Yeah.
Right off.
exciting football or reckless football because that goal difference negative. That's insane.
No, it was
That's
it
what
was a
happens
tough
when
it was a
Diogo
tough season.
Dalot. That's what happens when Diogo Dalot is one of the best players for your squad. You know, the season.
It was a tough season for United, bro. And I think everybody feels it, like it was just a tough season. And I hope that they allow Ten Hag time if he really wants to stay there, but it doesn't look like it looks like, obviously we've been hearing talks about them looking at Thomas Tuchel and other managers. I don't know what is to happen with them.
Yeah, they weren't
Yeah,
too far off from my expectations for them. I thought United were going to finish sixth. They finished eighth. Not too far off, but yeah, I mean, considering the club's history and one sock's love for the club, it is a little disappointing. But to me, the biggest disappointment of the season so far or has been Brentford, for sure. If you compare to the previous seasons, they were very exciting. You know, I love Thomas Frank as a
mm,
manager, as you guys know. and they have great players in the squad too. So I was impressed how they were, at least for the past few weeks, they have been fighting against relegation.
Yeah.
So
Which
that was the disappointment in my view.
I mean,
Yeah.
which is expected if you lose your only threat for half a season. I mean,
Oh,
they're
and Ivan.
I mean they're kicking long to
Yeah.
Ivan Toney. I mean, they lost
Yeah.
Raya too, right? So
And they also lost Christian Eriksen back to
right,
Yeah.
Man United,
but
who I still think.
that was 2 years ago. So maybe not necessarily, but I I don't I don't like Thomas Frank like that.
You don't like Thomas Frank?
This
Maybe
man,
I am biased.
this man hates this guy. But yo, since we were talking about Man, I want to talk about favorite game of the season to wrap up the season awards. And because we're talking about Man U, I have two in the bag for me, and one of mine is the 3-1 at the Emirates. You see me?
You
know,
thought that was a game of the season?
Right.
At least for me.
That is too funny.
I mean, I mean, it hurt me very much at the time because I thought we had won it.
That's what was so beautiful for me, because I really thought we lost, and to come out scraping away with a win against Man U in just that rival match was beautiful, bro.
Yeah. I mean, so that's
Bro.
your pick. Okay. Mine, I mean, it doesn't really matter for me. I guess this is not for the Premier League, but the Liverpool game, the 4-3, that was my game.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I thought about it and I was trying to keep it to the Premier League. I honestly can't remember like
Bro,
a good
I'll
game.
help
Like
you
I can't
remember.
remember.
I'll help you remember, Christian. Chelsea 4, Man United 3. You guys remember that?
Oh
Well,
God.
why is everybody ganging up on United right now?
No, that hold on.
That's
Hold
what you
on.
get for
I
complaining.
saw
No, Ron.
I thought people would have that game. Bro, that game to me was just like
It was crazy.
it
was
wasn't
crazy.
it wasn't even that good of a game. It was just a lot of goals. That's all. And
It
People
was
it's
the
like
game with the most attempts, Christian. Overall, more than 50 attempts. That's crazy. That's
I, I
crazy.
I I watched I think the second half of the game and I just don't remember. I mean, I remember kind of laughing when Palmer got the hat trick. Not because of United or anything like that, but just because it was another deflection. He had two penalties, and I was like, "Oh my God, people are gonna gas up Palmer for this performance." But I genuinely,
Man.
to be honest, in past seasons, like there have been games, most of them have involved Man City or Liverpool. So like maybe City, Liverpool, or City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Arsenal. I can remember games from past seasons that have been like, "Damn, that was a crazy game." But from this
Yeah.
season, I don't know. To be honest, there's just not really one that stands out to me for some reason.
This game in particular, I remember when Garnacho scored the third goal for United. As a comeback, they were down 2-0. He scored the third goal. With Anthony's assist was phenomenal, but that was his highlight of the season for me. He didn't do much other than that.
Literally.
But then Garnacho was celebrating like Ronaldo, right? Like CR7, like he had won it. And then Palmer at the 100th minute, he scores the equalizer, and then at 101 minute, he scores the
Scores a winner.
comeback goal, the fourth goal. Insane match.
It was actually insane.
Yeah, it was a crazy game still. But yeah, that kind of wraps up the season awards. So we only have a few left. So if you want to run through a very, very quick team of the season, we can do so.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's go. Goalkeeper.
Gotta be Raya, bro. Golden Glove winner. Come on.
I don't know.
David Raya.
I was gonna argue for Raya. He has conceded the least amount of
What?
goals, but I feel like
You're
that's
gonna say
more
Vicario. That's what
more
you're gonna
props
say.
to. No, I'm not gonna say Vicario. Hell no.
I was gonna say Allison.
I'm gonna say Ederson, not Allison. / Ortega. Man, that
well,
save against Son. That save against Son. I mean, we're not talking about. We mainly talk about Son missing that chance. We're not talking about Ortega stopping
No.
Son.
One moment. You're gonna call one
Huge
moment.
props.
Brother, he won. He won them the title. He won them the title.
It's
Simple as
huge.
that.
I'm not calling
It's
one
a huge
moment.
save.
It's a huge save, but one moment, bro, it's a 38-game season. But anyway,
No,
Alright.
but
Watson,
Ederson,
who
he's
you
been
got?
phenomenal throughout the season too. So I mean, I would give it to Ederson.
Who you got
Yeah.
once?
I mean, Raya. I mean, he won the most. I wouldn't say it's down to him necessarily, but Raya.
Yeah, I give it to Ryo too. I see the Ederson shout for sure, but I give it to Ryo. Who you guys got in right back?
You guys
Or
gonna hate
do we?
me. I'm gonna be biased as hell.
I'm
Ben White,
I know
bro.
I'm not gonna give it to Ben White because both my center backs gonna be from Arsenal. I'm gonna give it to Dalot.
Diogo?
What?
It's fair.
Diogo.
It's fair. He's been one of the best right backs in the league.
Just the way all the backs are
No,
laughing.
this guy would pick Dalot over Ben White and Trent. No way.
Trent doesn't
Wow.
even play there, so I can't pick him there.
Yeah, try to get joke, brother. Centre backs are pretty confirmed, I'd say. Is that right for everybody? Saliba, Gabriel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gabriel Saliba for sure.
Who you guys got at
Um,
left back?
Yeah. Left back, to me, I'm taking Josko Gvardiol. I think he has been phenomenal.
Yeah, especially towards the latter stages of the season, for real.
Yes.
Well, I think
He has
he's
stepped up
gotten
his
more. Yeah, he's gotten more attention in the last few games of the season just because he's come up with a few goals. But my God, yo, when you watch this man, the man looks like I said it on Twitter the other day. The man looks like the left-footed Frank Rijkaard. It's like I could see this man playing in midfield very easily. Like
Yeah.
he's so good
No, he
and
really
just
is.
unique
Both-footed
profile, Brad.
too.
And
He's
both
built like
footed,
a tank.
and he's freaking 21. Like,
Yes.
he doesn't even
That's
look
insane.
21.
That's insane.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see more of him.
You know who's also
Next-
a honorable mention? It's Robinson from Fulham. He really stepped up his
Oh,
game this season. He's
Anthony.
doing very well.
Yeah, man, he's been solid. Great, great asset for the
But I wouldn't
USA.
pick him over Guardiola. I wouldn't.
Yeah. So let's see. We have a midfield three. I think Roger
Right.
has to be the.
Yeah,
has to be
Roger
there.
has to be there.
To me,
Rice
it's
has to
Rodri,
be there
Rice,
too.
and put Palmer in there if you can, or Foden, depending on how you want to,
Because I know you wanna fit in Saka, so that's why
I think
you're
Saka
trying to
should go.
Nah,
I think
I would
Saka
put
should
actually
be in.
the other Foden and Palmer. I think one has to go right wing, one has to go midfield.
Nah,
So you
I
don't have
wouldn't put
Saka in your team?
Nah, I wouldn't, bro. Like I think he had a good season, but I wouldn't. I feel like it was a bit underwhelming, even though like he got numbers and stuff, he got his assists, he got his goals and stuff. I still feel it was a little underwhelming from him
Yeah.
particularly.
Well, I mean, Rice is so versatile, man. We can have Rodri the DM. You can have Rice the 8th. He's just fine there. And then I don't know. For me, I'll take Foden. I would take Foden as the other midfielder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't take Foden or Palmer in the middle. I wouldn't. I would for this third spot. I would choose even De Bruyne, Bernardo, or McAllister. But for the level of quality and being the center attacking mid, I know that he hasn't played for most of the games of the season, but I gotta go with KDB.
You hate Odegaard, bro. You actually hate Odegaard.
I forgot
That's
about
a, that's
Odegaard.
a
I forgot
yeah, I
about
forgot
Odegaard.
about him. But that's another
I
mention
think-
as well.
You hate the man.
Odegaard
You
should
guys
be in
both
the
hate the man.
midfield.
You know,
Yeah.
he's the guy with the most through passes in the league. So
All
props to
right,
him
here's
for
how
sure.
here's how I'm lining it up. Actually, now that we said that, Foden left wing, Palmer right wing, Odegaard midfield, Rice, Rodri. That's that lineup. To
So-
finalize it, what
The
you say?
striker is obvious. The central striker is obvious. It's got to be Erling Haaland. Don't come with any Oliver Watkins.
Wow.
Do not.
I
do
swear
not talk
you're
about
gonna
Oli
say
Watkins.
Darwin Nunez, man, for some reason.
Oh, bro, we're talking about team of the season, not team of the century. So maybe when we do
okay,
that,
okay.
we can talk about Darwin.
No,
But
Watkins for
Haaland
me.
is a striker.
Watkins for me. Sorry.
Bro, I don't know how that man scammed his way to the assist award this season, but Erling Haaland is my striker. We can probably talk next time about the maybe the difference between the two of them. But who
Yeah.
you have on the left wing to wrap up the team of the season?
Now I was saying Foden already.
Foden, yeah, Foden.
Oh, Foden left wing. Okay, yeah. Okay, I see
Foden,
how that works.
Palmer
then.
right,
So you have Odegaard, Palmer, and then Foden. A little unorthodox for Foden, but kind of cramming the best players into the 11, which I don't mind.
After
That's solid to me. I mean, it was a crazy season at the end of the day. Almost had some drama on the final day. So we're almost done with the season here. We just have the Champions League final to look forward to.
We forgot the manager. We forgot the manager of the season.
Oh,
well,
I mean, for
Arteta.
me, I give it to Arteta. I give it to Arteta. I mean,
Okay.
you can't give it to Pep, man. He's just too good. Again, we're not talking manager of the century.
I'll give it to Klopp, man. His last season at the club, he managed to do a great job. I'll give it to Klopp. I don't care if I'm biased. I'll give it to Klopp, man.
Clap
We
before me
have to
clap
talk-
you in the face. Man,
we
turn
have to
off this
talk
meeting
about
before
that
me
next time.
clap you in the face.
We have. I'm gonna write that down for next time. I have to talk about that.
Yeah,
I love Jurgen Klopp.
seriously.
Anyway,
All right, so quick,
Guys-
one talk. Who's your pick for manager of the season?
I don't care.
Don't say Eric
Man,
Ten
just
Hag,
mark it
man.
on to
Come on.
next season, bro.
Yeah, for real.
Let's
Get the
move.
checkbook out and he'll be fine. Well, I don't know about him, but he
Yes,
want the
guys.
checkbook.
Well,
But
we
that
have
was
a
good.
couple more games to go in the season, so I know we gotta wrap it up now. We're almost out of time, so it's been a pleasure talking with you guys once again.
You as well.
We'll see y'all next week.
Yes, sir.
See ya.
That's all we have time for today. Guys, thanks for tuning in as always. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Remember to subscribe, to leave comments, and share with your friends. Follow us on social media at FOTBpod. Don't forget to leave a review, rating, and most importantly, don't forget to turn on those notifications. Join us again next time as we discuss the highly anticipated upcoming Premier League action. Thanks again as always. See you then.